This is the G Podcast with your host, Tonya B.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 289 of This is the G Podcast. How you doing? I'm not going to do any air horn right now. No applause. I'm just glad to be back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just glad. But here's a little just for you, just in case. Yes. We're your weekly recap podcast, news, politics, pop culture, and the tea. Make sure you are following us on Spotify. You can find us at This Is the G Podcast. Make sure you do it today. A lot of fun and frivolity on Spotify. You can do all kind of stuff. Take the poll, leave comments. You can do whatever you want. So go ahead. Not a Spotifyer. Find it out. Go on and have fun. Okay, it's me, Tonya B. Tonya B is in the building. Tonya B, the award-winning member of the cast.
Y'all are funny. Okay.
So Tonya B, tell people, given the Reader's Digest version of your award, you just put another award.
Unplugged Music Experience, which is, if you will, it's almost like a think tank of independent singers, songwriters, and producers who make music. And I've been just supporting with them because I love what they do. I love the passion. And they actually put out some good music. So I was recognized, if you will, as being a champion and an advocate on giving a voice and amplifying voices of independent artists. And I've been doing it for, can you believe, 37 years.
Yes, exactly. And that's why she does the Birdwatch. Credibility. Every Sunday at 4 p.m. on Velvet Frequency Radio. Thank you so much and congratulations. Well deserved.
Thank you. It was a fun night. It was virtual, but it was actually fun. So I was dressed up from the waist up, but I had on like sweatpants and my bedroom slippers from the waist down, but it was cool.
What? Don't be like the cop. The cop on Zoom.
Well, at least I had pants on. I was fully clothed.
The cop was on the Zoom court and forgot where his camera was pointed. Right. I know you didn't do that, Tonya B.
No. He pointed out. But I got to tell you something. Another one of my co-honorees, if you will, was friend to this podcast, Ann Nesby.
Oh, wow. Okay, yes.
He was an icon.
Ann and her husband, Tim.
Tim, right? That's iconic. I'm an icon in training.
Yep. Well, there you go. Congratulations again. Talib Shabazz is in the building. Another icon.
What's happening? Iconic. How y'all doing?
Man, you're doing things with Earwax again. You were telling me.
Yes, sir.
Can you hip the people?
Yes, sir.
Can you hip the people?
Sure. Myself, Jazz, Seth, and Hakeem have teamed up with the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta Airport to do another art exhibit called Earwax Beyond the 50th. So we've got a couple of events and stuff like that are going to be planned that, are going to help to celebrate hip hop beyond the 50th anniversary.
Wow.
We're just getting older. So we're getting better and more stories that, we're discovering stories every day that haven't been told. So this is just another way of putting that out. We have four display booths in the airport on the e-concourse, right there at E14. And one is like the Earwax storefront with a couple of light boxes in the window, to kind of show you what Earwax looked like. And then we have one that's dedicated to the producer and to the DJ. That's all in one booth. That's the one that I personally oversaw. So got old school turntables, we got a Techniques SLD2. We got a Clubman 1-1 mixer, you know what I mean? So it's in MPC SP12. We found an 808 to stick off in there. So, the other two, one is like a tribute to Atlanta's hip hop scene. Mm-hmm. So all of the firsts, the first group to come out, the first show, the first radio show that played hip hop, as a format, the first, the bunch of different firsts, the first street team, keep it street. That was my crew, what I mean? So, it's, and then the last one is a, hip hop is global. is the theme of that booth. So it's got a bunch of different stickers from different groups over the years, books, a lot of the books that hip hop artists and people involved in the hip hop scene have written. We now have a place where we're hosting it. We've got a lot of old school magazines, street flavor, some things that just maybe might have run, 3 or 4 episodes and folded,
Did y'all get
everybody was
in
trying
there?
to put
Did you have a source in there? A source magazine?
You got quite a few sources. Quite a few sources.
Okay.
Got a couple of King magazines too.
Oh yeah.
We got the King magazine with AJ on the cover, so that's always a favorite.
Did you get the chair that was thrown at the Source Award, the first chair? All right, I'm just joking. Congratulations, man. That is good stuff.
Sure.
I mean, I'm joking around, but that's good stuff. And you got to let us know, because I know it's on Controversies. You and I were having the conversation about it, accessibility, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. And if you have a friends and family day, and you guys, I'm sure you're going to take pictures and film it and share that, and maybe we can get that on the show, man, and talk about it. Give it the time it deserves, man. So congratulations to you again, man.
Yeah, for sure.
See all these award-winning folks on the show. Yeah, look at that.
I'm telling you, man, we have a bunch of talent here.
But I got to say, man, I've been busy the last couple of weeks. I got to say thanks to Spicy Dicey. If you didn't get a chance to check out 288. She did her top 10 horror movies of the year. And remember, folks, you don't have to just watch that during Halloween. That list is always a good list to watch anytime. Got to say thanks to Melba Moore on the You Need to Know podcast, man.
That was a good interview,
Had a great time with her, man. And, she's spunky, man. She still got that spunk from, you know what I'm saying? I had to do some editing. Some masterful editing. What'd you say, Tonya B?
Edit, let it go.
Oh, well, not for the reasons, to not include, but you know how they go. You got to keep in mind, but more like 80, right? So it was fun. It was fun. And then Larry Dodson, man, I got to say, Uncle Larry, is that Unc?
Yeah. Call him Unc.
And former lead of the Barcades is also on the You Need to Know podcast. Thank you, Tonya B, for hooking us up. And I told the story toward the end of that podcast about, I called his home number because Tonya B just sent me a link, right, with the numbers on it. She sent me his contact link. I didn't know it was his home number, so his wife answered, and she said, "Who is this?" And I'm like, and I immediately said, "Larry." So I said, "Hey, Larry." And she said, "Does it sound like Larry?" I didn't know it was his home number. She said it was, that awkward pause, silence, and, well, this is his wife. You trying to find Larry? I said, yes, just trying to find Larry. You know me, I can't shut up. So I come back and say, well, if you live with them long enough, you start to sound like him. And she awkward silence. But anyway, thank you, Tonya B. I appreciate you. But I'll know next time.
No, he's got a great story.
What's that?
He's a really good interview. He has some great stories.
And I ain't gonna shut up when I'm doing these kind of interviews. And I think they just pulled a plug on me, because after the interview was over, I just kept talking because I was excited. This is like I grew up with the Barcades, Right. But go ahead, Tonya B. You were saying.
Everybody caught the Holy Ghost at one point or another.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
Ghost.
He was a great interview. You guys check it out. It is the You Need to Know podcast. Lots of, a couple of different types of people, going back to Ted Richardson, Dr. Ted from Beyond the Gates. Well, Keith D. Rollins, Yeah. But he's on there as well, so check it out. All right, y'all. Hey, let's go ahead and do news. We got a lot to talk about. Glad you guys are back. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and do news, and we'll come back on the other side. Here we go.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
Senators say they have reached a deal to end the lengthy U.S. government shutdown. A bipartisan group of lawmakers struck the agreement Sunday, and the Senate voted 60-40 to move it forward in a late-night session. The plan still needs approval from the House and President Trump's signature before the government can reopen, a process that could take several days. In a key compromise, Democrats dropped their demand to extend expiring health care subsidies, instead securing only a promise for a future Senate vote on that issue next month. A number of Democrats are furious after 8 of their own senators joined Republicans to back the deal ending the nation's longest government shutdown without the health care concessions they wanted. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer faces the harshest backlash as Democrats and allied groups blame him for the compromise and are now calling for him to step down. The government shutdown is over. The vote in the House came late Wednesday. President Trump immediately signed the bill at the White House, ending the longest shutdown in U.S. history, 43 days. It will take some time for everything to get back to normal. Some federal workers, like air traffic controllers, may see paychecks quicker than others. SNAP benefits may also take longer to go out in some states. House Democrats have released new emails from Jeffrey Epstein claiming that Donald Trump, quote, spent hours at my house with one of Epstein's victims, adding that he knew about the girls. The White House called the release a smear, saying the woman mentioned had cleared President Trump of wrongdoing.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong.
That's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Mr. Trump, who knew Epstein in the 1990s, later banned him from his club and denied any involvement in sex trafficking. The email surfaced as Democrats push a bill to release all Justice Department records on the Epstein case. The measure still needs Senate approval. The U.S. penny has officially been retired. After 232 years in circulation, the 1-cent coin, once a symbol of American grit and thrift, was discontinued on November 12th. The reason? It costs 3.7 cents to make a penny. President Trump says he wants Americans to get a $2,000 tariff dividend check paid for with tariff revenue. He first floated the idea on Truth Social last week, calling critics of tariffs fools. And on Wednesday, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the president remains interested in making it happen. Now, don't plan to spend the money yet, since there is a good chance no checks will go out without the approval of Congress. The return of the House of Representatives to Washington has meant the return of the Jeffrey Epstein issue. Earlier this week, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson said he plans to hold a vote next week on a measure mandating the full disclosure of Justice Department files related to the late sex trafficker. We are learning more as some emails are being released by the House Oversight Committee. In a 2017 email to former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, Epstein said, "I have met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump. Not one decent cell in his body." In a text from 2018 to an unidentified person, Epstein writes, "I am the one who can bring him down." The White House says the emails released show Trump did nothing wrong. There's a new AP NORC poll out concerning President Trump and the economy. Here's AURN's Jamie Jackson.
Americans are increasingly dissatisfied with President Donald Trump's handling of the economy. The survey, taken November 6th through the 10th, finds 62% of Americans disapprove of the job he's doing as president. Across party lines, the numbers are even more striking. 94% of Democrats disapprove, as do 71% of independents. Trump's standing on the issue is also slipping. On the economy, a central focus of his campaign, 67% of Americans now say they disapprove of his approach. And on immigration, the poll finds 57% of U.S. adults are unhappy with how he's handling it. Even among Republicans, there are signs of concern. Earlier this year, Trump had an 81% approval rating on his handling of the federal government. That number has now fallen to 68%. For AURN News, I'm Jamie Jackson.
You know, it's funny watching Marjorie Taylor Greene, shred his ass on national TV.
Okay.
It's just to the point where, you know, as we tape, he came out with a post on his social media condemning her and pulling back his support for her. But she's been grilling him for like the last few months. Since, within a month, definitely.
Called him a lunatic.
You know, so, you know, it's just interesting to me that MAGA is starting to, quote unquote, get it to some extent. Not completely. They're not there yet. But they're starting to kind of see that the emperor has no clothes, that, you know, he's running around in his underwear. But first, I want to ask, you know, I'll start with you, Talib. Was the government shutdown worth it?
No. It never, first of all, it never is. Listen, I mean, in Congress, you have just a few job titles or a few job responsibilities, and one of them is balancing a budget. The government should not be shut down because you should be balancing a budget in the first place. So let's get that straight. The fact that we really have a situation of taxation without representation right now, who is representing the people? I'm not. The first, the reason why the shutdown, the Democrats were not willing to supposedly negotiate was because of the health care subsidies.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to pull in a few Republicans like MTG and Thomas Massey, in order to try and get some concessions for, the subsidies.
Right.
But we wound up losing 8 senators who were pretty much on the way out, and that fuckhead Jonathan Fetterman, from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now we're here without concessions once again. You know what I mean? And so I'm not really in favor of all of this feigned aggression towards these senators who had to have negotiated with these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
You're going to take the fall and you're out of here. You're going to retire. You're not coming back. You're getting primaried. You know what I mean? And that's how we're going to sell this to the American people, so that we don't have to, we can look weak, but it looks like we tried to do something. And if they see that we're outraged about it, then, maybe they'll still side with us.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you there and just say, for the most part, all of this is performative.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It is exactly
It's
political theater.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
political.
political
Would somebody
theater.
call it kabuki?
Yeah.
Kabuki theater. So it is. But I want to go to Tonya B. Same question. And good answer. Good answer. Go ahead.
Because it was just a bunch of foolishness.
Yeah.
I really think, because I am just not trusting of even those who claim that they are so down with the people. I really think it was all by design, because whenever the American citizen suffers, those people who make decisions will 99% of the time they will prosper. So I think it was all by design. They have nowhere to go on. And put it like this: they don't care about airports because they don't go through airports like we do. So that again, it really had no effect on them or their pocketbook.
Because they're never going to lose their health care.
Right. At the end of the day, their paychecks didn't stop. Their food wasn't taken off their table. Nothing in their life was interrupted at all.
Do you think, and let me ask you, did the Democrats come out in this situation looking squeaky clean? Because, I've got my points. Go ahead.
I'll just say, one stands for them. Throw some balls. They have lost, to me, every bit of, I think, even influence and power, and just, it's like the house of cards is falling in on them.
Yeah. Totally.
And why do you think maybe I will throw some shade. So after all of this, based on how much her net worth escalated the last couple of weeks, why do you think Nancy Pelosi is really going to go and sit down?
Because she got a bunch of money.
Exactly.
She does.
I don't need this headache. Y'all already hit my husband in the head. He's not right. So I'm just going to go home and count my millions. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Right.
She'll get paid for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Yes.
My opinion in all this, and when I say this, people give me the side eye when I say this, but I really am praying nightly as I go to sleep, before I go to sleep, that there's a third party, that a true. I'm not talking about the Green Party and that mess. I am hoping and praying that a third party emerges. I will be on that if it's a solid, if they carry these things, and I'm going to tell you what they are: campaign finance restrictions, the end of the dark money to these campaigns. If they restrict stock market trading by Congress, and their families, you gotta stop, because basically all of this is insider trading. That's how you get the money. You know what the bills are that affect these companies that drive the stocks. So, you know how to play the game. And the other thing is, I think there needs to be a stronger presidential mental competency test as part of the qualifications and annual physicals. I think it needs to be there before you even consider a president as a candidate. I think we need to, and that's more, that's going to have to go through the what do you call it, the Constitution. It's going to have to, it's an amendment change. It's going to take an amendment, but I think we have to really screen our candidates for president better. We got to do a better job. So those are the main things.
Not just president.
Yeah,
not just president.
You can get away with Congress to a certain extent, but I think if you put term limits on Congress, that'll help. So the people can see, and then the people can get them out. But the presidency is critical, and we're on the road after 45/47 for potentially worse candidate to come about after that, worser, as I used to say. But I'm just saying it could get worse. So we need to make sure that the candidates who are running are screened. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all, you held your hand up, Tonya B. Go ahead.
I'm just agreeing with you. But
I am praying for a viable third party. I really am, because I am off that train after watching this. It's sickening.
We love Maxine Waters, but at the end of the day, I think she's one good example of the need for term limits, because I don't know that Compton is any better. How much better is Compton from the day that she took office?
Clayton County, the congressman who's over Clayton County, I'm not going to mention his name on the show right now. He hasn't even been voting.
Oh, that clown.
That's right. Yep.
They found the person, someone is running against him because he's going to be in the midterms. He's going to, he's up, midterm next year. They found out. They went through his. I'm not talking about voting on the floor. I'm talking about just voting in general.
Right.
Well,
he hasn't been voting.
What about the dude that actually came over here and lives in Mexico and was actually elected to office?
It's crazy.
And he's
not paying attention. Not paying attention.
Now I ask you.
Yeah.
That's necessary.
But I'm gonna, and y'all know. But before we get to the last thing I want to say, Epstein files, and I want to go to you, Talib, because you brought up the Epstein files before on the show. Is it worth pursuing?
Let me tell you. Well, see, here's my opinion.
Yeah, the
Epstein files, yes, are worth pursuing, because we need to see what we as decent people who use common sense and who don't literally tread on others, stay to ourselves, mind our business, pay taxes, try and live an upstanding lifestyle, go to some kind of, religious outlet on a weekly basis, or at least on a holiday type basis. You know what I mean?
Your Easter go ahead. Yeah.
Right. But, and see what kind of depravity is really going on behind the scenes. We need to know, we need to see it, because people are not believing it. We know that there have been thousands of clergymen who have been arrested over the last 2 years. We know that there have been a bunch of politicians who've been arrested for depravity over the last couple of years. We can see that depravity is taking a hold and root in our lifestyles now, and we have to do something about it. At the basis, we have to protect the people that we say that we love. We have to do more in order to just reel in some of this nonsense, because this is doing nothing but bringing us all down. And I'm tired of taking the heat for others.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I got you. Tonya B, is it worth pursuing?
Hey, what he said. Oh, but let's either do it or not do it. It's a trickle here, a trickle there. And I again, by design, I know that the orange one is more than likely trying to, of course, distance himself from it. But the more he tries to distance himself from it, the more the receipts come out that he's really in there. And when you look at, what's happening here with the Epstein files, and then you see, I know it's a different culture, but, I'm waiting for Prince. Oh, I'm sorry, he's not Prince anymore. For Andrew, he'll be on EBT pretty soon because, he's
been kicked out.
Stripped of his title, got kicked out the house, all that stuff. And the more he denied it, the more receipts came forward. And even with the orange one, there was something I read in a headline this week where, Andrew was with the 15 and 16-year-olds, but I heard orange one was with a 14-year-old. I'm like, who does that? That is just some sick pedophile-ish. And so everybody else, look, if he would from Subway, he'd be in jail with him.
For me, I've been doing this podcast going back to, or doing a political podcast going back to when it was Hillary versus Trump. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so I have been here since Mueller doing this. And maybe because I have been doing a weekly show going back to the Mueller, investigation, I've lost faith that they can do anything to bring him down. I really have, because time after time, plus the other thing is the Supreme Court. I don't have faith in the Supreme Court, and the Democrats, with each day that passes, you lose faith in their ability to do anything as an opposition party. So I'm going to say you can do it, but I don't expect anything out of it because going back to Mueller, and I look at the Supreme Court, they found a way. And I hate to say that because of what you said, Talib. This goes deeper than just money. This is using people who are innocent, using the innocent.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting, but going back, because I guess I'm jaded, I think you should do it, but the expectation for me is low that anything is going to happen.
Well, if they bring anything out after this term is over, it's like, who cares? I'm trying to get into
I would be elated if it's because the other funny thing, and I'm going to let this go, the Bubba, the Trump and Bubba rumor, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Right. So now he's blowing bubbles. That's what he's doing.
It's hilarious. It's just funny. So if anything, it'll piss him off. I'm just that'll piss him off. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah, go ahead.
I say this too.
Yeah,
I don't even think it was so much about him really just doing the act as opposed to the way he was bowing down.
Yeah.
You understand? You know what I mean? Like somebody, if I said I need to see the video of my coworker kissing somebody's ass because I know they're up it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not even taking that. I'm not taking that at face value.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is that here's the real. Epstein knew everything about that freak.
Yeah, he did. And that's why he said he could take him down. That's why he said he could take him down.
Right.
So now we see why Epstein, but Epstein realizing how deep he went.
Yeah.
I mean, is the Mossad connection with Epstein for real?
Yeah.
Is this dude really, Israeli royalty?
Yeah.
And if so, then now we understand how he was able to do nothing and get access to everything.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
You know what I mean?
It's going to be interesting. I got a couple more things before we go to break. Congrats to Mayor Andre Dickens. They didn't even put no numbers up. The percentages didn't even matter. He just blew everybody away. But I knew he would. He's the only one really running TV. So you know what's going to happen. The interesting thing that came out of this, and I got about a minute to go through this, is his promise in the second term, which actually, if he did this, it would be legendary. If he extends MARTA to Cobb and Gwinnett. If he does that, which I think it's possible now that the demographics have shifted, possibly.
Right.
Cobb may be tough. Gwinnett, he might get away with. But if he extends MARTA to Cobb and Gwinnett, that will seal his legacy. That's huge.
Truly.
If you live in Atlanta and you have to drive Cobb and Gwinnett with no train access, you do not want to work there and drive from the outside. It's horrible.
But
So if he does that, go ahead, real
I
quick.
think you know why he's doing that.
You say
Because
what?
you know, I used to live over there by Ralph McGill by the old Civic Center.
Yeah.
And all of those commuter buses from up in Cobb and Gwinnett will come down into this city every day and tear up the street.
Yep, they do.
Okay.
They do.
So, you know, therein lies the reason to do it. Now, it's probably going to take 10 years or so to get it done. And the other thing is, like, you come in here and you tear up the streets of Atlanta, but people like me, you know, have to pay for that. And then
you have to pay. No, you have to pay. The citizens, the people who live there. Yeah.
You know, that's why he was out there filling potholes his first term. The other thing is that I'm sure there's going to be some kind of rebate or some kind of tax credit. You know, it's going to actually really put a dent in those bus companies now that do this every day. They do it 5 days a week. But then, see, there are people that live up in those counties that have to come down into Atlanta to work on the weekends. And those buses don't run on the weekends.
Well, for a lot of people who are new to Atlanta, this whole MARTA thing is racially motivated. The fact that they limited the train. You know, a lot of folks just didn't want give black folks that kind of access to these suburban communities. That's where this started. And now, now they're starting to move back or work in the city, and they want access to the Braves. They want access to Gwinnett. You know, so now it's advantageous. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. The other thing I want to say real quick, congrats to McDonough. I live in that area, new mayor, Cam Varner. And in Stockbridge, you know, Stockbridge is kind of going through some craziness with that amphitheater and some other stuff. But they elected a 22-year-old recent Clark AU student to be mayor. 22. Jaden Williams, his grandmother was part of the government, was part of Stockbridge. He's born and raised. He said he's going to focus on growth, infrastructure, and inclusion, making sure that all residents feel represented and heard. He beat a two-time incumbent, so I got to give him his vote. I mean, you know, and I'm not going to be negative. I know some folks might say, well, you know, people are going to be pulling their strings. Well, you know what? Who ain't getting their strings pulled?
Exactly.
Government. Who ain't getting paid?
And what does that tell you? Exactly.
So us.
So I'm gonna leave it at that. Hey, y'all! I know Tonya B, you got your tea all wound up, and we'll save any last minute comments for the end of the show. Let's go ahead and do break, and we'll come back on the other side. Here we go.
Let me get ready.
Tonya B, I know you got a lot of tea, so I'm going to just let you get with it. Here we go.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tonya B.
What you got, Tonya B?
Start off with the entertainment industry police blotter. First up, Charles Michel of the Fugees, you know, his political conspiracy case. It went back to 2012 when he was working with the Chinese. Well, we know he's going to jail, but he's been assessed a $64 million judgment. And there's they'll be lucky if they get $6,400. If they get $64, he broke, and he's going to be in jail for quite some time. That whole Fugees reunion thing that he was banking on to help support his family fell through. So he's going to jail. But if they think they're going to get $64 million out of him, I'm Britney Spears. Okay, next up is Tory Lanez. He's going to have to do the entire 10-year bid because the court has rejected his appeal for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. So Tory Lanez, you can go back to Canada. Also arrested this week, Akon. Okay. It was a bench warrant because he did not show up to court for a ticket that he got almost 2 years ago. So here he is driving with a suspended license and no insurance. And on top of all of that, his wife filed for a divorce. He doesn't want to pay her. 2 days after he got out of jail, he's over in Dubai on tour, and the wife wants half of the $50 million that he's worth. Okay, wait, there's more.
Cheaper to keep her.
I'm gonna get to that too. In the words of Chaka Khan, ain't nobody coming to visit R. Kelly. Now he's claiming his so-called friends, his family members, his delusional. Remember the ride or die fiance Joycelyn Savage? He gone just like the little bit of money that was there. So everybody's gone. He feels abandoned. Oh well, let's move on. Uzi Vert was getting sued too, but that case has been dropped for sexual harassment and a litany of other inappropriate things. And how Drake was suing Kendrick Lamar and that case got thrown out. Now he's being sued for allegedly promoting illegal gambling. So he's saying they took my likeness and didn't get my permission, but we will see. Also getting sued, Nicki Minaj getting sued for $10 million by her former manager. And let's go. Cardi B. That baby is here. She hid it for as long as she could. She quietly gave birth to a baby boy with NFL player Stephon Diggs, who just had a baby with somebody else about 5 months ago. But she's already in the gym trying to get fit. I'm hearing against her doctor's orders, because she's got to prepare for this Little Miss Drama tour coming up in February of 2026. And there's too much money on the line, so she's got to come through. Her new LP is selling, but not the way people wanted it to. And the reason why she's not divorcing Offset right now, even though she got the baby by the other man, I told you what happens when you're married, have a baby by somebody else. But in the words of Johnny Taylor, for her, it's cheaper to keep him.
Wow. That's going to come out a little bit. Well, I know a lot of folks are on Cardi about the baby, but you know what? As long as they can afford them, I mean, I kind of stay out of celebrities' wounds. Whatever you decide you want to do with your body, do it. You can pay for it. Nobody gets hurt. Do your thing.
Yeah.
Stay out of the womb.
I gotta say something. You know how I used to always have a dumb donkey of the week, but this is the dumb diddy dumb donkey, and that is Teddy Riley. Now he needs to just stop it. Now he's got this guy 2.0, and there's 4 strange dudes that we don't know. No Aaron Hall, no Damian Hall. Even though Aaron Hall has allegedly lost his voice, I think the presence of the Hall brothers would give this a little bit more credibility. And he tried to do the Blackstreet reunion, that fell flat. So Teddy must need some money, but he needs to stop. I don't think people are going to receive that well.
You don't think Teddy's getting money from the royalties from all the stuff he's written?
How he overspent. He's been broke 2 or 3 times. Some people never adjust, their spending. You still, like Michael Jackson kept spending like it was Thriller. And Thriller had come and gone. And Teddy had, a lot of bad business decisions. He was on American Greed. He got ripped off, lost everything on American Greed. So this guy 2.0, and Teddy is not even a singer. So,
Was it Aaron Hall who said Guy is the greatest band ever? I think it was Aaron Hall who said that, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it alone. Go ahead.
Is he walking dogs? Maybe he did. Okay.
I'm gonna leave it alone. Go ahead. I'm in enough trouble. I'm gonna leave it alone. No, what'd you say, Tonya B?
Did they even have 2 albums, maybe? The person who really had a lot to do with The Shape of Guy was Timmy Gatling, who saw what was happening and just jumped off the Titanic that was Guy and got out. But he still had to get paid for what he contributed to that first album, which was their biggest album.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Guy, but when he said that, I just shook my head. A whole lot of people shook their head.
He really reached.
They started looking for receipts, but go ahead.
You got paid off of Michael Jackson. You have nothing left. Okay. Anyway, the former talk show host and radio host Wendy Williams, she's been really going through it. They were saying that she had this temporal dementia like what Bruce Willis has, and now the neurologist is saying that she does not have it. I think there's something shady going on with that conservative who may have been orchestrating all of this stuff to enhance their own pocket. Because as long as this conservator or this guardianship is in effect, Wendy can't touch her money. But I think it was also to make sure that her ex-husband with his bad hip does not come back and try to get any more money from her, because all of his lawsuits got thrown out. And he got thrown out of the house.
Every time you do this story, I have to tell people, go to Netflix and watch the movie I Care For You a Lot. It is, you wouldn't understand, you may not understand how it can be done, but I know it's fiction, but that movie opened my eyes to a lot of what someone who gets control of your life as a conservator can do. And it was a scam in the movie, but really when you see the movie, you can see how this could potentially put Wendy in the position she's in. Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
wish her the best. So, we lost a lot of athletes over the last couple of weeks, but here's a couple that I really need to just, let's say send some prayers up and lay them on the 5,000 Black Baptist Church altars of Atlanta and beyond. The legendary Lenny Wilkins. I'm not about sports, but even I knew who Lenny Wilkins is. Right.
Mm-hmm. Played for the St. Louis Hawks back in the day, and eventually coached the Atlanta Hawks for a period as well. Yeah.
And then there was a young man that was, I guess, during the Earl the Pearl era, the New York Knicks, they were really, really doing it. Michael Ray Richardson, he passed away.
Wow.
And also, finally, it's just so sad about Marshawn Nealon. This young man was struggling so he was really, really, he was going through it. Again, you never know what the face of mental health looked like. His mother died a year ago. He was really struggling with that. He was just really coming into his own, and he tried to crash the car. That didn't work. Self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. And I don't even know if he knew that his fiance was expecting a baby.
And this is the young man, 24 years old,
From
played for the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, he hadn't played long enough to have any piece of pension, so I don't know how his child was going to be taken care of, really.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
it's really sad. So I would just say, keep, his soon-to-be child and just, his family and his soul, just keep them in your thoughts and prayers, because it's a shame, because to look at him, you would think he had the world, at his feet, and all, the money he could have made just didn't do it. And and I think people say punks take their own life, but I can't imagine what drives somebody to that brink where they just put a gun to their head and pull the trigger.
It's a tough, you never know. And even when we do this show and we talk about people in their lives, we really don't know what people are going through, at a certain point. So, definitely our prayers go out to his family and his former girlfriend who, is going to have his baby without him. And I know that's going to be difficult for the family as well. What else you got?
I got one more thing to show you, and this is like some really good news. When Questlove was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last week, he was being interviewed, and he shared that there will be, I don't know, sometimes music that's in the can needs to stay in the can, but there will be some unreleased music from D'Angelo on the way.
Good stuff. I hope they do a good job.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah, I do. If Quest normally knows how to capture, the essence of a performer, and so if I think and agree, I don't know if you agree with this, both of you guys are music professionals, but I think it's got a good shot if he's hands on and involved with it.
Yeah, the key doesn't do dirty work. And the other thing is, if you remember, D'Angelo was in the Sly Stone documentary that he did, and if it was over the last 2-3 years, that was right before or shortly after D'Angelo got his diagnosis.
Yeah, that was considered, the subtitle was Black Genius.
Yeah.
And they had a couple of those, and they considered D'Angelo
yes.
part of that. Yeah, without a doubt.
Look forward to that.
All right, y'all. Thank you, Tonya B. Definitely a lot went on this week. We don't always get to everything, but without a doubt, we appreciate y'all. If you ever have any comments, any suggestions, go to castropolis.net. You can leave a comment there. And with that,
It's time to wrap it up. This is the G Podcast.
yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up. You got any shout outs or last minute comments, Tonya B? I'll start with you.
Big shout out to my family, guys. Shout out to my mama. And I want to say shout out to everybody at the Unplugged Music Experience for recognizing my work. I'm really a behind the scenes kind of person. I'm not up front, so I thank you for that. And I got to say shout out to anybody that has Netflix. You got to go watch that Eddie Murphy documentary. And there's one in pre-production right now for Babyface. Like,
Yeah, what you
subscribe,
think of?
share.
Were you happy with the Eddie Murphy doc?
You know what I was happier with? I was actually happier with his interview with Al Roker, believe it or
That
not.
was good. Agreed. That was good.
Yeah.
That
But
was good.
he doesn't let folks in his house, in his world. He's very, very guarded. So I think it was a huge step for him just to even do that part. So I got to give him 5 on it for that.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Talib, you got any shout outs? What you got?
Oh yeah, most definitely. You know, this is Scorpio season, so
Uh-oh.
want to say what's up to the number one Scorpio in my life, Miss Aisha Shabazz, mom, celebrating 82 this year.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
the hip hop grandmother. Yeah, and then also want to say what's up to my number 3. Not sunbirth, but definitely, you know, loved having you around, and Bryce Calendar, you know, who's turning 27 this year. 27, yeah, something like that. You know, getting old. So
Let's start cracking.
yeah.
Gotta use that Apple calendar
Exactly.
a little more.
You know, well, they say that's the first thing to go, right?
Yes.
So, anyway, but also just want to let everybody know to check out Beyond the 50th. It's a website for the event, for the exhibit that we're doing at the Hartsfield Jackson. BeyondThe50th.com, as well as on Instagram and TikTok at Beyond the 50th ATL.
Good.
Beyond the 50 ATL. I'm sorry. Yes.
Beyond the 50. And we'll make sure you send me that. I'll make sure it's on the podcast page.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We get all that on there so people can go check it out. Okay.
Okay, cool.
I got to say what's up. Again, you know, this is my favorite holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I really do. Even starting with Scary Day, Halloween. I love it all because, you know, the weather breaks, it's cooler, you know, you can hang outside without, you know, having to change shirts 3 times. So, you know, this is my favorite time of the year. So I got to say, we are playing holiday music on Velvet Frequency Radio. As you can see, I got the Velvet Frequency shirt on.
Right now. Time to buy one. I gotta buy one.
No, I got shirts for y'all. So, you know, I told Talib my shirt story, but I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna do that on here. But I got shirts for you and for Talib and Tonya B. So y'all, I just need your shirt sizes, okay? So I'll take care.
You're right.
I'll leave it at that. No, I'm not gonna send you a bill.
Right.
All right, but make the holiday velvet. As of now, we're playing holiday music. It's your soulful soundtrack for the holidays. You can also, we've got something coming up where you can vote for your favorite holiday jam at the website at castropolis.net. We'll play them back Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and we'll also draw Christmas Eve for a Velvet Frequency sweatshirt. So you can sign up for that at castropolis.net. Also, Sundays at 4 p.m., you can check out the award-winning Tonya B. I got to say, award-winning Tonya B now. The Bird Wire at 4 p.m. And then at 6 p.m., or a little bit after, because, you know, Tonya B, you know, that show.
I'm working on it.
That show is two hours, like 2 hours. You know, but it's a good show. Good music, solid music, and they do promote independent artists, which is needed.
Yes.
So 4 p.m., listen to the Birdwire. 6 p.m., listen to the replay of this week's podcast, of This Is the G podcast. And I got to do, you know, shout out the Tailgaters, Troy University. Thanks for having me out, man. Had a chance to do Friday night and all day. The Tailgaters do a tailgate, like before the game. Of course, homecoming weekend. And they give free food, you know, with donations. You know, you could donate if you want. But damn, Troy lost the game. When you have a homecoming, you get a team that's not like at 500. Get somebody who hasn't won a game in 3 years. You know what I mean? Don't get somebody who could potentially beat you for homecoming. So that's word to the wise. Got to shout out my Smurf brothers. Thank you so much. Had a great weekend, man. And I just got to say thanks. Thanks for coming back, y'all. We took some time off and got some things done, a lot of things accomplished, and we'll be here hanging through the holidays. Again, thank you so much, Tonya B. Talib, appreciate you, man. As always, Vi is doing his thing. He'll be back real soon. So got to say that, and thank you all. We appreciate you. Episode 289 is in the can. Peace, and please give some power to the people. I'm going to have to start playing For God's sake. What
Right? Never more relevant.
The Shy-Lights, right? Was that the song?
Yes,
Please give more power to the people, man. So we need it. Y'all have a good week.
You too.
You've been listening to This is the G Podcast. And This is the G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.